Banks designed the $500 payment to feel affordable. It's not. It's a trap. You walk into a dealership, you've done your homework, you've been eyeing this car for months. It's a 2023 SUV, leather seats, panoramic sunroof, the whole thing. And the salesman sits you down, slides a paper across the table and says, "We can get you into this car for just $512 a month." And something in your brain goes, "That's actually not that bad. $500. You spend more than that on groceries. Your rent just went up $300. In the grand scheme of life, what's $500? So you sign. And I need you to hear this clearly. That moment right there, that is the exact moment a lot of people's financial lives quietly begin to fall apart. Here's what's happening in America right now. According to Edmunds, the average monthly car payment in the United States as of late 2023 crossed $733 per month for a new vehicle. And for used cars, the average sits around $533 per month. Not the high end, the average. And most people will tell you they can afford it because they're making the payment. The check clears every month. The car doesn't get repossessed. So in their minds, they can afford it. But making the payment and affording something are two completely different things. And the financial industry has spent decades making sure you don't know the difference. Let me give you a comparison that will reframe this completely. The average American household brings home around $4,800 a month after taxes. Your $733 car payment, that's already 15% of your take-home pay going to one depreciating asset. And if you're a two-car household, you might be looking at $1,200 to $1,400 per month in car payments alone, close to 30% of your income, before you've paid for insurance, gas, maintenance, or parking. Now you might be thinking, not everyone has a $733 payment. Some people have $300 payments. Fair. But I've seen people with $300 payments who are just as trapped. Because the psychology isn't really about the number, it's about the belief system behind the number. And I'll show you exactly why. But first, the math. Because what this car is costing you monthly is only one number. The real number is buried 72 months deep. Here's the math most people never run. A $42,000 SUV, $3,000 down, 7.9% interest, which is, by the way, actually below the current average for new car loans. 72-month loan, go. Your monthly payment, $609. Over those 72 months, you will pay $43,848 total on a $39,000 loan. That's $4,848 in interest alone, nearly $5,000 that built you zero equity. Just evaporated. And that's before we factor in what the car is actually worth. A brand new vehicle loses between 9 and 11% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. First year of ownership, another 15 to 25% on top of that. Your $42,000 car, by the end of year one, it might be worth $30,000, maybe less. So in the first 12 months, you've paid $7,308 in car payments, you've paid about $2,800 in interest, you've watched the value of your car drop by roughly $12,000, your net worth has gone down by nearly $7,000 on this single purchase. And we haven't even touched insurance yet. Full coverage on a financed vehicle, which your lender requires, averages around $180 a month. Gas, roughly $150 a month conservatively. Maintenance and tires averaged out about $80 a month. So your $512 car is actually costing you $609 loan payment, $180 insurance, $150 gas, $80 maintenance. That equals $1,019 per month for one car. Over $1,000 per month on average for a car that millions of people bought thinking it was a $500 a month decision. This is the trap, not the payment itself, the total cost of ownership that nobody talks about at the dealership table. If this is already making you uncomfortable, good, hit subscribe. I make this kind of video every week, and most of what I cover will feel the same way. The math isn't actually why people buy expensive cars. If it were just math, nobody would ever overspend on a vehicle. You can run these numbers in 10 minutes. The reason people buy cars they can't afford is psychological. 3 specific mechanisms. The first, payment anchoring. When a salesman tells you the price of a car, your brain registers a big, scary number, $42,000. That hits different, but when he breaks it down to $512 a month, suddenly it feels manageable. It feels like a budget decision, not a decision about $42,000. This is intentional.
Dealerships are trained to shift the conversation from total price to monthly payment as fast as possible, because once you're thinking in monthly terms, you've detached yourself from the real cost of what you're buying. Car companies have known this for decades. The second, identity-based purchasing. We live in a society where your car is a signal. It tells people where you live, what you do, how successful you are, and here's the brutal truth. A lot of people are spending $700 on a car to protect an image they're not even sure they believe in. How many people do you know who drive a $50,000 truck to a job that doesn't require a truck? How many people have a luxury sedan with heated seats sitting in traffic for 45 minutes each way? The car isn't functional at that point. It's a costume, and I understand it. When you grew up watching certain cars represent success, your brain wires those two things together. When you finally can make that payment, even if it's barely, there's a dopamine hit that says, I made it, look at me. But here's what nobody tells you. The actual people building wealth, they almost universally drive ordinary, reliable, paid-off vehicles, not because they can't afford better, because they understand that a car is a tool, not a trophy. The third, lifestyle normalization. Once you make a $700 car payment for 6 months, your brain starts treating it as a fixed cost, like rent, like your phone bill. And once a cost becomes invisible, you stop questioning it. You just accept it as part of life. This is where the poverty trap really locks in. You've built a lifestyle around that payment. Your budget assumes it, your habits assume it. And when the loan is finally up 6 or 7 years later, instead of pocketing that freed up cash and building wealth, most people walk right back into a dealership and do it all over again. Because the car is getting old, because a new model just came out, because the salesman says you can upgrade for about the same monthly payment. The cycle never ends, and it was designed not to. So far, I've shown you what the car is costing you. Now I want to show you what the car is stealing from you. These are two very different conversations. Let's say you're 28 years old. You've had some version of a $600 car payment since you were 22. You'll keep some version of it until 65. That's 516 months at $600 each, $309,600 in payments, before interest, before insurance, before depreciation.
But here's the number I actually want you to sit with. What if you instead drove a reliable used car, fully paid off, and invested that $600 per month starting at age 22? At the stock market's historical average return of roughly 10% per year, in 10 years, $122,000. In 20 years, $456,000. In 30 years, $1.36 million. By retirement at 65, $4.6 million. $4.6 million from one decision, the decision to not have a car payment and to invest the difference. And before you say, people need cars, I'm not telling you to drive a rust bucket. I'm saying there is a massive gap between a $42,000 financed SUV and a $12,000 reliable used car bought with cash. That gap, that $400 to $500 per month difference, is the difference between a comfortable retirement and spending your 60s wondering how you're going to survive on Social Security. This isn't theory. This is math. And the math is ruthless. Here's what most people don't realize about the wealthy. They didn't get wealthy and then decide to drive a modest car. They drove a modest car while they were building wealth. The modest car was part of the strategy. The money came because of the decision about the car. This is not an accident. The system that leads you to a $700 monthly car payment was engineered. Think about who profits from your car payment. The automaker, the dealership, the finance company, the insurance company, the extended warranty company. Every single one of those entities wins when you buy more car than you need, finance it over the longest possible term, pay maximum interest, and come back in 5 years to do it again. The 72-month loan didn't become standard because it's in your interest. It became standard because it makes the monthly payment look smaller, which allows manufacturers to sell more expensive cars, which means higher profits across the entire supply chain. Leasing operates on the same logic. Only $399 a month, and you can upgrade every 3 years. What they're not saying, you will never stop making payments. You build zero equity. At the end, you hand the car back and have nothing to show for 3 years of payments. Leasing is a $399 a month subscription to a car you will never own. a perfect payment forever, which is exactly what they designed it to be. Car companies are businesses. They optimize for their profits. Your job is to optimize for yours. 5 moves that actually break the cycle. Here's step 1. Step 1. The 10-20 rule. Car value equals max 10% of your gross annual income. Payment plus insurance equals max 20% of your monthly take-home. On $60,000 a year, that's a $6,000 car. That's probably not the car you're driving, but an $8,000 Toyota Corolla with 70,000 miles will get you to work just as reliably as a $40,000 Camry XSE with a sunroof. The only difference is one of them is bleeding you dry. Step 2. Buy used, buy boring, buy reliable. The 3 most financially sound car brands across the last 20 years, Consumer Reports, J.D. Power, and every major reliability study are Toyota, Honda, and Mazda. These cars run forever, cost less to insure, cost less to maintain, and hold their value better than almost anything else. Be the second owner of a 3-year-old Honda Accord with 35,000 miles. Let someone else eat the depreciation hit. You swoop in for the boring, efficient version. Drives just as well, costs half as much. Step 3. If you have to finance, keep it short. Go no longer than 36 months. Not 60, not 72, not 84. And yes, 84-month loans exist now, which should terrify you. A shorter loan means a higher monthly payment, but dramatically less total interest. It also forces you to buy a car within your actual means, because you can't artificially lower the payment by stretching the term. And never let a dealership anchor the conversation on monthly payment. Always negotiate the out-the-door price first, then figure out financing. If you let them start at $400 a month, you'll have no idea what you actually agreed to. Step 5. Save up and pay cash. Drive your current car until it's paid off. Then keep driving it. Keep making your car payment, but pay it to yourself, into a savings account, into a money market fund. By the time your current car gives out, you've got $10,000, $15,000 sitting there. You walk onto the lot with cash. No financing, no interest, no leverage for the dealership. The day you buy your first car with cash will feel like a superpower, and you'll never go back. Step 6. Reframe what the car means. This is the hardest step, and it might be the most important. You have to decide that your car is not your identity. Your car is transportation. It gets you from A to B safely and reliably. Any story beyond that, any story about status, image, what people will think, that is the story that costs you $4.5 million. Here's the real trap. You're not buying a car for you. You're buying it for strangers who don't know your credit score, don't care about your interest rate, and won't help you when you're broke. You are spending $4.5 million on strangers' opinions. The financial decisions you make in your 20s and 30s compound just like interest compounds. The good ones and the bad ones. A $700 car payment at 27 isn't just $700. It's the retirement account that never got funded. It's the emergency fund that never got built. It's the down payment that got delayed by 4 years. It's the options you won't have at 55 that you could have had if you'd made a different choice at 27. Most people are making a $40,000 decision in a 40-minute conversation with someone who is professionally trained to close them. Don't be most people. Run the number before you sign, not after. If this video changed how you think about your car or any large financial decision, hit the like button. It helps this channel reach more people who need to hear it. Subscribe if you're new, and if you've got a car payment story, whether you broke the cycle or you're currently trying to, drop it in the comments. I read them. I want to hear it. I'll see you in the next one.